15 degrees, you can see your breath. Out here in the lake of fact, breaking tables like it's poetry. Where else would you rather be? Pinto, Ron, Elvis, and the lay poncho. The members that you need to know. 'Cause once you're out here, now you're family. Where else would you rather be? Where else would you rather be?
Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Crippen. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nickel City Crew. This episode, along with all of our episodes, are presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker and StreamYard. We're so glad that you're joining us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud.
It's a vibe so ridiculous. Since 12 plus 83 was 6. The shout rocking like a symphony. Where else would you rather be?
All right, let's get straight to it. I am really excited about tonight's episode. I know I kind of got a little gushy with you guys in episode 22 on the 1-year anniversary of Nickel City Crew with you and DT, and just kind of talking about how much this platform has meant to me personally, and just for my growth, and just for everything, and just it's been so therapeutic for me. So I'm really excited about tonight's episode. As always, joining me, my host, as always, Adam Dumpchuck Rupsick. Holla at the crew, DT. We got a little special surprise. And I don't know, man. I'm just so excited because the crew is expanding, man. Kind of how we talked about at the end of the season. The Bills season came to an abrupt halt. And it was something that we weren't all anticipating against the Cincinnati Bengals, but it came to an end. And it just reminded me, DT, because there's so many good things on the other side of the rain and on the other side of the storm. And man, the Damar Hamlin situation, how the community came together, and then obviously with the Tops tragedy with the shooting and the mass murders there, like Buffalo really showed themselves well, especially through the snowstorms. And we came out on the other side, DT. There's some positive at the end of this little tunnel, man. Look at this. Look at us.
Yeah. What's up, Nickel City? I'd have to agree for sure. Good to be back after the week off as we get into Super Bowl week, and a big night tonight, Rob. Thanks again for having me. Appreciate it. And yeah, one thing in common, and it's the Mafia and the Bills with Josh Allen. So I'm glad to be back tonight to get it going.
Yeah, man, I really am. I'm excited about it because this was something that, shout out, the Bible. Our guest knows about the Bible, and the Bible says, give honor where honor is due. So, I mean, shout out to Big Ben Fennell, who gave me the idea, and he was like, "Yo, man, listen." He's like, "You love this song, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like, I just went crazy when this song came on, and he was like, "You love this song," and he was like, "You need to get in contact with the artist and see if you can't bring him on." So, I'm really excited tonight. Joining us tonight on this episode, I'm really happy, man. Listen, artist for Gotee Records, RICHLIN, all the way out in the Pacific Northwest. I've got some dealings out there, man, business wise, man. What's up, man? Holla at the crew, RICHLIN, man, the actual artist of the Mount Up Bills Mafia song. Holla at the crew, RICHLIN. What's up, man?
Listen, man, it's an honor for me to be here, to be connecting with you guys. I do music interviews all the time, but I never get to talk Bills Mafia with fellow fans. So I'm excited to be here, man.
That's what's up, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to be on with us tonight.
Yes, sir.
And I can't wait for this episode to drop tomorrow morning on Thursday. Listen, tell me a little bit about yourself, because I know that I can tell you about me and DT, and DT and I have been doing this podcast. Again, I just said we passed the 1-year anniversary. I started.
Congratulations, guys. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I started it out as myself, alone, and then by the time about maybe about 6 months ago or so, I just started having DT on, and he was on more often, and all of a sudden I was like, brother, man, like just be my co-host, man, because we've kind of gone through a similar journey, man. Broadcasting has always been in my heart and in one of my passions, and the Bills obviously are my biggest passion. I met you and was introduced to you, RICHLIN, through your music and through your artistry, way back during Tailgate. And I was listening and we were hanging out, having a good time at the tailgate, and we're right in the grass lots. And then all of a sudden, I hear this song and I'm like, wait a minute. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, this dude's got the lyrics too. And I'm like, listen, I'm like, who is this? And then Big Ben told me, he's like, oh, it's Richel, this cat. He's like, he's really nice. He's from Pacific Northwest. He's out west. And I was like, I've got to get in contact with this cat because the song was perfect. We're going to go over the song because that's really one of the main reasons I had you on to, along with the fact of promoting your album. Talk to me about like, how do you know all this stuff about the Bills? Man? Listen, where are you from, man? Talk to the man. Where are you from?
Yeah, so I'm from a small little town in the backwoods of Oregon. So I always tell people it's the mountains of Oregon, really kind of cattle farming community. And so you and I are the same age. And so as a kid, you know, like one random Sunday morning, the Bills were on NBC. And somehow, some way, like my dad's a Broncos fan. It doesn't make sense for me to be a Bills fan.
I'm trying to follow you. Okay.
It's like Seahawks or you're a Denver fan, one of the two. So, you know, Bay Area is not too far south, but I fell in love with the team at like 6 years old.
Wow.
And so, yeah, you know, as a Bills fan, I have four little kids now. And so they have no idea what it means to suffer long, you know, and endure. Right now, you know, they're in the heyday, and that's all they know. And so I'm telling them,
babies. Are they fans as well? Are they fans as well, Richard?
Oh man, I've indoctrinated them as soon as they came out of the womb, bro.
He baptized them the right way.
Absolutely.
That's something I always think about. You know, that's something I always think about as a kid, like going to school wearing my like Eric Mold jersey and JP Lossman jersey and you know whatever, and these kids now like can go in and rep 1-7, can rep 1-4, and like that's something I definitely am jealous of the kids nowadays for sure.
Yes, but you know what? Like I love that I was a fan of Bryce Pop in '95. They'll never know what, you know, that '90s era. And so, and I love this, you know, current version of our team. I love the way Brandon Beans built the roster. But growing up in the '90s, being able to experience what we experienced, there's nothing like it.
It ruined me, Richland, because I had called up to WGR just like a couple of weeks ago and talked again about how like the '90s Bills, man, they ruined it for me. I know that I think you listened to my intro. Like, I mean, like that was it. Like riding home from from church with my family, with my mother and my father, listening to Van Miller on the radio, like that. I mean, we're the same exact age. I was 5, 6, 7, and 8 for the Super Bowl run. So like those Bills like left like a big time impression on my life, and it really kind of helped shape my fandom. Because of the fact that like they were just such a big deal, like in my house, like the Bills were a big deal, Super Bowls, and you know what I mean, all four back to back, and like it was just a situation where you couldn't ignore them because they were part of the fabric of what Western New York was, what Buffalo was, and that is a real dope story. That's crazy that like so way out there you watched the game, Bills wash you against the Commanders, and then all of a sudden you were just hooked.
That was it. And so all these and so all these years later, you know, I was able to put out an album. So I'm signed with the record label. I'm a person of faith, and so I'm technically in the Christian music world,
right?
But my label, which is so kind and sweet, they basically allowed me to put out a record that wasn't necessarily geared towards that market. And just got to have fun. And so I connected with a writer, a good friend of mine who spent time in Buffalo. And he contributed the very first line of the song that says 15 degrees, you can see your breath out here in the lake effect.
Yes.
And then I wrote the rest of the thing, but I thought, man, you know, I can visually, I've never been to the Ralph growing up or whatever it is now.
Right. Yes,
but I could see, there it is. But just in that lyric, I could see the imagery, and I'm like, man, like I've got to write this. So,
oh man, that's really amazing.
So you've never been out to a game out here?
Not yet. You know what's funny is we sent the song. The song ended up in the Bills' hands. Steve Tasker heard it. was
Yes,
like, man, this is amazing. So he sent it to the top, which I think is Pagula Entertainment. Like,
absolutely.
we
Yes,
love it.
PST.
We don't see us using it this year. So we're hopeful though maybe next year they'll use it for a hype video or something. So we thought maybe we'd get some tickets, to get out
Yeah.
and get out
Heck
and go
yeah.
catch a game. So
Bleed them for
Listen,
yes,
sure.
we are already
Let us
we are
know.
already changing
Yeah.
that because you will be out with us next year.
let's
That is
go.
100% happening. The season opener and the home opener for the Buffalo Bills is always almost like a holiday. I know that
Yeah.
so many Bills fans, and I know Adam DT can can confirm that, like, it's like a holiday for us. So
That's
we're going to have
amazing.
you out, whether it's the home opener, whether it's another game. We're going to have you out, our dime on our record, and come out and hang out with the crew because we are
I'm
we are
there.
really we are
Let's
really
go.
excited about this song. And you kind of stole some of my thunder because I was so interested. I was like, well, when did you start your music career, Richland? Because being out there you're from Oregon, correct? Born and
I
raised in
am.
Oregon. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
from Oregon, I read up a little bit about you today, and I was reading up some weeks ago after I had reached out to you, and it was interesting because I was like, well, who helped him with the lyrics? Because the lyrics are so perfect. So before we go into the lyrics, and get into those, when did you start your music career? If you guys don't know, again, shout out Nickel City Crew, shout out to Bills Mafia, Richland. He is on Gotee Records there, and again, so kind and sweet. He's got a new album out, man. Something to say, and the album is dope. I listened to like another couple of songs today. Like I wanted to do my research and really get in my broadcasting kind of mode, and I was like, okay, well, let me listen to something other than just Mount Up. And I listened to Something to Say. I really enjoyed it. And then King on the Inside was like, I was like, whoa. I was like, well, let me take a step back and give this man his props because this man is doing his thing right now. So I was like, okay, let me take a
Thank
step
you,
back.
man.
And then I reached out to you on Instagram to let you know that I enjoyed the song. So when I
Thank you,
know
man.
that the album itself, excuse me, came out in 2022 last year. When did you start your music career, Richland? Like, when did this all become a major part of your life? I know you said you're a dad, like I am.
Yeah, music, I've been around music since I was a kid and writing songs and picking up guitars and drums and just being around uh, a wall of sound, since I was a kid and have loved just about everything, stylistically.
Okay,
And so if you listen to that project that you're referencing, you hear a little bit of everything, man. So
okay,
again, I grew up in the sticks, so was forced to listen to country music,
yeah,
but smuggled in hip hop and
yep,
everything else in between. And so what's funny, even right now, we're working on a new project that's geared more towards Christian radio, and we have a song going to radio this next month with Montel Jordan. If you remember the song, "This Is
yeah,
How We
sure
Do It."
do. Yeah, Friday night.
And
Yeah,
so I'd say, man, like since I was a kid, I love it all. I love it all.
mhm.
There's really not maybe outside of a waltz or old big band stuff. I love everything, man.
Yeah. So you've always had a music inclination for sure, and that's something that you've been led to. So
Yes,
I can
sir.
respect that because, I know that DT and myself, we've both been kind of led to what we've been doing in respects to the broadcasting game. So I met DT Richland on a Buffalo street, a very common Buffalo street, right in downtown Buffalo, right on
Yeah.
Allen Street, and it was funny because we were in separate parties, and then all of a sudden, we saw each other at the bar, and we bought us, each other a couple drinks, or whatever the case may be, and then we separated, and it was nothing. It was no exchanging of cell phone numbers or anything like that. The next morning, I get to my tailgate, my normal tailgate, where I tailgate every single week. And shout out to the crew out there that's part of that crew that in the corner. And then all of a sudden, I look to my right in the grass lots. And the next morning at the game, Sunday morning, and DT's right there. And then
Yeah.
literally, Richland, we have just been friends ever since then because it wasn't anything that was planned. And you just, like I told you before, you just never know really what's going
It's
to happen
amazing.
because
I
we
love that.
literally met on Saturday night, didn't exchange numbers. The next morning, we were right there next to each other.
Yeah. It was
That's
Mafia
amazing.
Destiny, if you will.
Yes.
Maf-
It was Mafia Destiny for sure. Listen, if you guys have not heard the song yet, I don't know how you haven't yet, but again, it is Richland, Mount Up, and then Bills Mafia. Now, listen, 15 degrees, you can see your breath out here in the lake effect. The first bars, I was like, wait a minute now. Lake effect, snow that affects, Western New York, that affects Cleveland, Ohio. I'm like, how does this dude know about the lake effect snow? who helped you with these lyrics, dude? Because this is crazy. Listen, breaking tables like it's poetry, which and that kind of speaks.
Yeah.
That spoke to me though. You're laughing, but
Mhm.
like that spoke to me as a fan because DT and I, and you said that we're all the same age. DT and I went through like some dark times, Richland, and you know about
Yeah.
it, man. Like
Yeah.
the drought was really, really hard. I've been a
Right.
season ticket holder since 2009. So I moved down to Charlotte in 06. By year 3, I was scratching my arms like Pookie from New Jack City, and I was just going crazy. And I needed my team. I got season tickets. My ex-wife was like, "Well, just forget it. Just, she's from Buffalo as well. She's like, "Well, just get the tickets." Got the tickets, and all of a sudden, I was back immersed because I just missed my team so much. And then,
Yes.
by the time that it all sorted out, I was like, "Wait a minute! Like, there's no place I'd rather be." And breaking tables and the tailgate was better than the actual product on the field at the route, which was the craziest part about that experience through the drought. That like I'd fry turkeys and we'd have a great time. I'd see DT, and like it was just crazy because the product on the field was not good, Richland, and you know that. Like, what was it
Right.
like being a fan all the way in the Pacific Northwest of a team that gave you absolutely no reason to get up early? If a 1 o'clock kickoff and I got to be up at 10 o'clock, I might just roll over, man, and I'll catch the 4 o'clock games. I'll be honest, man.
Well, on the West Coast out here, church is at 10 a.m., 9 or 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So I would tell my parents anytime that the Bills were playing on NBC as a kid
Sure.
or CBS that I was sick. And so I'd stay home and I'd watch those games. And no, you're absolutely right. Like I think especially after Jim retired, we went through the quarterback carousel.
Yep.
And they had years, certain years of disappointment. Like I think obviously, was it 2000, the Music City Miracle, or 99?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Even 2004, when we started out 0-3, 0-4, whatever it was, Bledsoe was behind center. But then we went on that run, and that defense was stout. And so all of a sudden, hope started to creep back in, and then we play
and then we
a
the
Pittsburgh
season,
team
the second string.
Yes.
The second string, we lose to the backups, Willie Parker.
And so you're absolutely right when you say that Bills Mafia, it's bigger than just the product on the field. I don't know how to describe it because it doesn't make a lot of sense other than, man.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. And I know that like DT is out there in Buffalo, and he's in a situation where he's like right in the briar patch. Like, I left in 06 and I haven't looked back, but like DT has been right there. So like DT, like, about it, man. The drought really has been hard on us, man. It's been hard on us.
And it almost is easier and speaks volumes to, to what the Bills do and what the Bills do to bring people together, because it's easy for me going to, the grocery store and everybody's in their Bills jerseys and everyone's got their Bills flags flying, and you feel it, and you feel the energy when it's in season, and you talk about it at work, and everybody, like, literally you greet people with "Go Bills," and so it's easy, I guess, for me to feel that, and then Rob kind of gets a little taste of that, but still is that's why part of the reason you started this podcast, right, Rob? Because you wanted to get it out, because you're not talking about it at the water cooler. And so it just speaks volumes, Richland, that you haven't been to a game on the West Coast.
It's crazy.
Still love this team. And you don't have any of the factors that make it, I'm fans for a lot of reasons, but a lot of that is because I'm in it and have grown up in it and been a part of it. So I think it speaks volumes to, what the Bills done it, because
the Mafia,
you're out there with nothing.
It speaks volumes to the Mafia, DT. The Mafia is so deep.
And they've given you nothing.
It's so true. And so when I went to write the song, I thought, man, I want to write something that would move us as fans. I know there's other Bills songs out there talking about players or maybe the Mafia, but I thought, man, if you really look at our fan base, who we are, what we've been through, I thought, and then obviously there's key taglines, Marv Levy's "Where Else Would You Rather Be?" I thought, man, if we made that a hook, and whether like, to borrow, your phrase, whether the product on the field is great or poor, we're there, and we're, we're coming out.
That's right.
Guns a blazing every Sunday.
That's right.
and loving life, man. So
There's no place I'd rather be, man. I mean, I'm
that's
a
it.
fanatic, man. I drive
That's it.
650 miles.
I say it when I get out of the car.
I mean,
Every time.
I drive 650 miles, Richland, you know what I mean? 1,300 miles round trip. Now, I don't think that I'm a bigger Bills fan per se than anybody in Western New York or anything like that, but I know that my dedication runs deep. I get in the car on a Friday or Saturday. I drive up 9 hours and like, it's no sweat to me. Like I'll do it. And like, I did it this last season and like, it's no sweat. I'll be up there in 9 hours and I'll see DT and I'll see my cousins. I'll see my family. And then I'm back out on Monday after the game, and like there literally is no place I'd rather be on a Sunday than right there. So I mean, the song just spoke to me, man. I mean, it was like more of a my baby son, he watches Paw Patrol. One of the little funny lines in Paw Patrol was like, the little kid rider shows the Paw Patrol crew the new digs, and then he shows them that they've got a new Paw Patrol pup dispenser, and like it's got all these treats, and then the dog Rubble's like, oh, like that's literally how it was when I was listening to you. It was like a religious experience. Like I was like, man,
that's amazing.
This song is like really speaking to me because of the fact that like you hit the lyrics on the head, man. So listen, 15 degrees, you can see your breath, Richland, out here in the lake effect again. Somebody's got to know that it's about the lake effect snow to really appreciate that lyric. Breaking tables like it's poetry. Where else would you rather be? That's the Marv Levy. I swear, DT, I know you can say the same thing. When Marv Levy, his old behind, was out there at the end of the episode, at the end zone, and he's talking about where else would you rather be, and he's shaking, and I'm just like, I got tears. Like I got emotional watching Marv Levy talk about the fact that there was nowhere else that he'd rather be than right here, right now, just like he used to rally up the crew. And DT, man, I know that I told you all about this song, man. Like I've been really on it, man.
Yeah, it bops, man. I love every part of it. And Big Ben, when next year, Richland, when you see this tailgate setup, shout out to Big Ben again. We got like concert level speakers.
Oh
this is a legit situation here. You know, we're the Mafia, and we do it right. You know, in our little corner nightclub we got going on. And when this song goes on, it shakes the place. You know, so
I swear, man. I heard it right before the Miami game, not the playoff game, but the Miami game. The last regular season Miami game, and I was just like, what is this? And like I was like, wait a minute. And then he says Pinto Ron, Elvis, and the late Pancho, again, rest in peace to Pancho Villa. And I was like, wait a minute, so he knows about those guys too. He's like, they're members that you need to know, because once you're out here, now you're family. Where else would you rather be? And like entering the first chorus, like that really stood with me, and it stood out to me. And then the second verse, it's a vibe so ridiculous. He said since 12 plus 83 was 6. And then somebody did a cut up. I don't know if it was you or it was somebody on Instagram, but I saved it to my phone. I was like, it showed a picture of Jim throwing to Andre, and I was like, I love Andre. Like I was like, wait a minute, this is all way too much for me. So like I really I was like, this is all just way too much, way too many lyrics back to back, man. Who helped you with the song? Please reveal.
Massive
right here on City Crew.
Massive shout out to my guy Benji Cowart, who lived in Buffalo for I think 4 or 5 years. And like I said, he gave me the very first. Okay, so to give you to paint the whole picture,
please.
It was over a year ago, the wild card game against New England. Like this, I don't think we punted one time.
That's what I started.
Okay, so that night, it's like into the third quarter, and I'm sitting here with my kids and my wife going, I've never seen anything like this.
Perfection.
And we're continuing to say, where else would you rather be? And it kind of turned into a hook. And so I hit up, So I hit up Benji and I said, listen, man, like, what do you think if we, kind of started, maybe wrote a song? And the next morning, I still have it on my phone, his voice memo, and it sounded completely different melody.
Sure.
But the lyrics, 15 degrees, you can see your breath out here in the lake effect. And that's all he had. And I was like,
you just gave me gold to work with. Yeah, exactly.
We're going. And so that's really where the song kind of took shape and came together. And I'll just say this. It's funny, especially having kids now, having 3 boys, a little girl, my little Nino's running around the house in their Bills gear.
Sure.
It's like people don't have a clue. It's so funny how we went almost 20 years in this,
The drought.
sports playoff purgatory,
Yes,
and
sure.
nobody behind center really. And then all
Right.
of a sudden, we're so
We're
nitpicky and frustrated because Josh isn't the,
as the second coming of
the
Christ.
He
right.
didn't
I'm
throw.
like,
He's
He
not
you
didn't
walking
throw
on
for
guys.
water.
606.
So I'm
Yeah.
I'm teaching my kids up in my household, hey,
To
yo,
be
you
grateful.
appreciate this. That's right.
To be
Yeah.
grateful. That's
Complimentary
funny.
football. You got a
Yeah.
top 5 guy behind
Oh, that's
center, and
funny.
we're going to be in the playoff conversation for the next,
Yeah.
10,
Kerry
12
Collins.
years. So
Tell him Kerry Collins. You know
280
that was
yards
good
and
help.
280 and 4 touchdowns is a good day. It's
Yeah,
a
you
my
good
tell him
God,
day.
JP
right?
Lawson,
And
Trent
I,
Edwards.
I think Nick Wright has so uh he's done something to a part of the fan base to where it's like, well, our
Yeah,
guy is,
Yeah.
and he is the guy. Like, I am so proud of Josh Allen. I mean, he
absolutely.
says all the right things, he carries
Yeah,
himself the right
yeah.
way.
Mhm.
But listen, baby, we just need to enjoy the ride and be
Heck yeah.
thankful that we have a
Big
team
time.
that's going to be competitive
Yeah,
for over a decade. And
yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
trying to ingrain that into my kids, and hopefully the rest of Bills Mafia can just relax a little bit
Yeah.
and know that it's a process, man, and we're gonna get there.
Absolutely. I mean, it is funny how spoiled you can get and how quickly you can get spoiled. So I know that DT
Yes.
spent some time often on our episodes reminding people of what, how dry it was and how we were going through the desert. And there really
Oh,
was no hope. I mean, I can't tell you, Richland, how many times I would drive up from Charlotte, again, 650 miles, 1,300 round trip. And I knew that Sunday that Tom Brady was getting ready to beat our head into the pavement. I knew that he was getting ready to beat our head into the pavement, but I just had to come up just on the off chance that we go ahead and we slay the dragon that week. So it's definitely deep.
it's
Bills
amazing.
Mafia really stretches out, and it's really cool because we really showed our true colors this year. To be honest, fellas, I mean, and really, this is a proud time to be a Buffalo Bills fan. It's a proud time to
Yes.
be a member of the Mafia. I remember, just shout out to Jay Spence, the King over at Buffalo Rumblings. He went through a tragedy there with the Tops, murders, and like I knew people as well. I knew Aunt Pearl. I knew people that were involved in it. I know so many people that did, and like that was a big deal. And the players came down. They showed their condolences. They paid their respects, and then it just seemed DT, and you could speak on it because it just seemed like the city just kept getting rocked. It was like this last past year was almost like a heavyweight fight. It just seemed like there was always constantly getting punched. I mean, for after the Tops, the massacre, it just never stopped. I mean, the winter storms, and then another blizzard, and then people dying, 40 people died. And they said there was more than just 40 people that died, and like just so crazy with what it was all about this past season. When I hear things about the Bills falling out of gas and kind of running out of gas at the end of the year, like I kind of just give them a pass on that because they are human. We always forget Nickel City Crew, but they are human. These are not cyborgs, DT.
No, not at all. And it was rough for a lot of people in the community
You
and
were
out.
there.
And
That's why I said you.
yeah,
Like you
yeah,
were right there
and
during the blizzard.
felt it for sure. So, but as we said, it's bigger than football, and it comes together, and it was kind of comforting, when all that was happening because you were not numb to it in the fact that you were desensitized. You were numb to it in the fact of you knew it was going to be okay. At the end of the day, with the way everyone comes together and stuff like that. So I think that's really the important thing. When you look at that with everybody, the main reason of the torture and getting knocked down and getting back up against the key,
Yeah.
and that's why it's Buffalo has such that grit and blue collar character is because they
Blue
continuously
collar. I mean, he talks
pop
about it.
back
I
up
mean,
from there. Yeah.
Richland kills it again. I mean, so listen, it's a vibe so ridiculous since 12 plus 83 was 6. And again, when I heard that lyric, I thought about the Hall of Fame ceremony when Jim throws to Andre and he's thrown to him from the podium. And I was just like, 12. I'm like, wait a minute. That really happened though. 12 plus 83 used to equal 6. Like, like I felt like a kid again, like the 90s. It was speaking to me. The shout, rocking like a symphony. Where else would you rather be? It's a bond deeper than you'll ever know. Here in blue collar Buffalo, as DT was just speaking about, red and blue will forever bleed. where else would you rather be? And like, I don't know, man, Richland, I just had to reach out to you, brother. And I really, really appreciate you because, the song spoke to me. I am a lifer. I'm definitely a fanatic. We just talked about it a couple weeks ago, DT, how fan is short for fanatic. And I would definitely, I'll raise my hand. I'll qualify as that. Most people don't get in their cars and drive all that time and spend that energy. But there really is nowhere else I'd rather be than right there at the Ralph every single Sunday or whenever they play. So I'm really excited. I'm so thankful that you came on the show tonight because this is it was just like a dream come true. Like I just heard your song and I just felt that it fits so well. And not only are you coming to a game next year, like we are going to roll out the red carpet. Like we had the news at our last tailgate. Like we're going to roll out the red carpet for you, Richland, because I mean, you're royalty, man. This song we play it every tailgate. We play it every
man,
tailgate.
you know, and I'm serious when I say this. One, I'm there, you know, in the words of the great Doc Holliday from Tombstone, say when.
Yeah.
But two, no, I mean, when I wrote this song, having not even been, I have friends in Rochester that'll send, you know, my kids Josh's Jacks and you know, and all the fun Bills care packages. Flutie Flakes. Yes. How can you forget? But there's something so endearing about our fan base. And so obviously the power of the internet, you know, information and data is out there. And I'm in the same tribe with you. I'm unapologetic and that I am a fanatic and I love the Bills. But there's something special about our community. I went to the Monday night game last year in Tennessee. Okay. And the amount of Bills fans
we take over
in Titan State. Oh, man.
We love playing in Nashville. We love playing out there.
Yes. So listen, like it's my honor to connect with you guys. And no, man, I look forward to connecting in person for sure.
Yeah, man, we're gonna have you out. I'm already putting it on the agenda on the Nickel City Crew calendar, DT. We are going to get this man all the way out from Oregon. In the Pacific Northwest, and we're going to get them out to Orchard Park. We're going to get them out there to the Ralph, man, and let you really just breathe it. When you get out of the car, like DT said, there literally is it. We spent our last two tailgates, both playoff games against Miami and against Cincinnati, just getting there early. Like we kind of just we acted like we were younger, Richland, and we went back out. I mean, we used to go out there early in the morning, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. We'd be out there before anybody was out there. And you know, life, like I said, it takes a toll on you, and then you know, you just grow up and you become a parent. I'm a parent now, like you are, and like I don't have the energy really. I'm getting a little bit older, and we did it, man. We did it the last two. That's games.
Amazing.
Yeah, man. We were out there before the sun. We were out there before the sun was up. Yeah, we were out there. We were out there
before the parking attendants.
Yeah, we were there. They had to come to us and ask us if we paid. So we had a great time for sure. And we were out there for the Miami game, the playoff game, along with Cincinnati, and we were out there early. So we're going to bring you out there. We are going to stay in touch. I'm going to make sure that is not. That this is not like a one-off for us. We'd love to have you back on the show as well. Listen, check out my boy Richland. Again, his album, Something to Say, a part of Gotee Records with So Kind and Sweet. I mean, check him out. He's got great material. And even if it's not about, again, you guys know I'm not about religion or anything like that. I don't really proclaim anything like that, but it has nothing to do with him being a Christian artist. It has nothing to do with him being contemporary or rock or hip hop. Listen to his stuff. I told DT before you came on, he kind of reminds me of like Imagine Dragons. Like this dude is kind of like an Imagine Dragons type. Like your songs are dope, man.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate that, man.
They pop. And I was reading an article with one of your boys. I think that you had gone on with Gotee Records, Stevenson or something like that. And he was saying like how like your style, like he was talking about how your style, like you know, and you were like, listen, I want to reach people in their 20s all the way up to their 50s. And like, that's what like Nickel City Crew is, man. I want to reach people that are Bills fans. And I know DT feels the same way, that are in their 20s that don't know who Henry Jones is, don't know who Nate Odoms is, don't know who any of those guys are. The K-Gun was named after, you know, Keith McKellar. Like people be like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you like? It was named after Jim Kelly. Like, no, it was actually named after Keith McKellar because he could do so many different things out of that tight end set. And we're getting ready to watch another unicorn with Travis Kelce on Sunday. So like, listen, people that don't know about it, I want to reach them all the way up to the
That's
people
it.
that remember, man, from the 90s. And those are the teams that shaped me and made me into this rabid Bills fan. So I
That's
appreciate that
it.
we're the same age, and I appreciate the fact that you recognize that, and your song
That's
says
it.
it all, man. Your
That's
song
it.
says it
That's
all.
it. All right. Well, before I go, I got to ask you both your favorite, most underrated Bills player of all time.
You could go ahead,
Oh.
DT, because you already know where I'm going. And I got to get his
Okay.
jersey pronto next year. I'm gonna get a new
Okay.
Bills jersey in his jersey. Got to. I've been slacking. What you got?
I'd say London Fletcher.
Oh, that is a really good one. And he's a borderline
London
Hall of
Fletcher.
Famer. He's
Yeah.
a borderline Hall of Famer.
And quietly.
He's a borderline
And
Hall of
I
Famer. The
used
way he
to,
racked up those tackles in
you know,
Washington and Buffalo.
model my game, when I was playing after I was trying to be London Fletcher out there.
Ooh, I like that.
Quiet, but in the sacks.
I love it.
Ooh, I love
Yep.
that. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
Richland, to be honest with you, London Fletcher's a great pick. I mean, I'm an offensive type of guy. DT will tell you. I mean, I'm all about airing out on Madden. I never run the ball. I'm always throwing it every single time when I'm playing Madden. Eric Moulds is hands down. I mean, he's number one. I just heard him back as the leader of the charge recently, a couple weeks ago, and I heard him on the radio on his little go around. And yeah, Eric Moulds for me, man. I mean, Mississippi State Bulldog,
Yes.
just a complete dog. Like, you think of Stephon Diggs with a nice demeanor. Everybody's getting on Stephon Diggs lately, with his end of the game antics and stuff like that against Cincinnati. An assassin. You want to talk about an assassin with a nice little personality to go with it? Yeah, Eric Moulds.
He was strong, man. Like he was so big, man, and physical. He had he was Hines Ward, combined with I don't know, name a speedster. Right. If he consistently had a guy that could have got him the ball, I mean, you're looking at a Hall of Famer for sure. He was that kind of talent.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So especially, because I loved when him and Peerless Price were together.
Yes,
man. I thought you watch, like, that's a combo that's gonna run for a long time, and obviously it was short lived. But no, I think I was still in high school when Eric Moulds was playing.
Yeah, we were in high school. We're the same age, man. We remember E. Moulds, man. I mean, you talked about the Music City Miracle in like 2000. I remember 1999, 2000. Crying. You know what I mean?
Same.
I mean, I'm like, what is going on? And Eric Moulds is one of the features of that offense, for sure. Yep. So under Wade Phillips. So. Listen, man, I appreciate you taking the time out of your night. Rich, look at
thanks for having me, man.
We like the Jeffersons, man. We are moving on up, man. I mean, I feel it, man. We're moving up, man.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I'm glad you could join us, man. Yeah.
I appreciate
you guys, man.
We'll stay in touch, man.
Yes.
Please, we'll stay in touch, and the best of luck to you and your career, and definitely your family. Hope that you guys all stay safe and healthy out there in Oregon. And if you've got anything that you need from us, you let us know. But other than that, until we meet again, man, I'm really, really happy that you came on. We are going to do a little Super Bowl preview as you exit out of here. But other than that, man, I mean, just listen, holla at the crew anytime, Richland. You are a honorary member. You are a part of the crew. We accept you wholeheartedly, like a church opening up their doors. You can come as you are, man. We accept you, man. And just want to let you know how much your track meant to me, and then and to Nickel City Crew. And like I said, I listened to some of your other tracks as well, and it's a great album. Again, Richland, Something to Say. Check out his album. It came out last year, his EP. It really is on point. And again, if you listen to Mount Up, Bills Mafia, you will definitely feel the connection, because this young man, he definitely makes you feel like you're right back at the Ralph, man. You're right there.
Hey, I appreciate you guys, man. We'll talk soon. Go Bills.
Go Bills, man.
Bills.
Oh man, DT, we are literally like the Jeffersons, man. We are moving up. I mean, that was really dope, man. Listen, that was dope. I like that.
That was a good time.
Yeah, man.
That was cool. right down the just where we get that. It's usually just you and me kind of just talking, and he was mad cool. Worked in with us well, and I think it was good. It was cool to experience something that you don't see every day Bills fan wise. It's
Yeah, that's wild, man.
like
He's
that
not even.
dude
He's
like
never been
really
to a
loves the
game.
Bills.
Like, wait a
That
minute.
dude
Like,
really loves the Bills. Like
yeah.
wakes up early for the Bills
You
type
can't be
thing.
any further than that, DT. You can't be further than
Yeah.
that, Bills Mafia, Nickel City Crew. I mean, out there in the Pacific West, you might as well be in Hawaii because, I mean, you got to get up
Mhm.
early. You got to plan your little tailgate if you're going to have one. You got to make kickoff 10 o'clock. Like, don't be out too late the night before because you definitely could miss it. As we transition, man, that was really fun. DT, we'll talk about the Super Bowl real quick, and then we'll wrap up because obviously we talked about how we all wanted the Bills to be participants in representing the American Football Conference there in Super Bowl 57. What are your initial thoughts on Super Bowl 57? I know that we haven't really talked too much about Patrick Mahomes' ankle. It seems like he might be okay, or at least the Eagles will try to force him to his left and make him test it. What do you think about this matchup on Sunday? Super Bowl 57. This is it. There's no more football after this until until next offseason. So talk to me about what you see of this matchup before we head out
Yeah,
of
well,
here.
I was telling you last week in the pre-show here. Last week was, I just blacked football out of my mind. Just not even that I was that upset anymore or anything. After the championship games, I just kind of blacked it out, turned it off. And so this week it was kind of weird getting, wow, it's Super Bowl week and it really hasn't hit me yet. As we get into Wednesday into Thursday, I'm sure as the weekend comes along, we'll get feeling the bowl again because, at the end of the day, we're Bills fans, but we're also fans of football, so we'll be
NFL,
around for
yeah.
this one for
Mhm.
sure. But
Absolutely.
it breaks down to this. I just look at the rosters, and I get not the best roster always wins the game by any means, but other than quarterback and tight end, the Eagles
They have the better team.
are
I mean,
20 for
they have the
22,
better team. Yeah.
They're 20 for 22 and better
Yeah.
players on the roster. Not 22 out of 22, 20 out of 22. So that's how I'm looking at it. It's I like watching the gambling line move back and forth to really kind of see what
Right.
people are liking, what's really gonna, what people really think is gonna happen, and it stayed pretty steady. So I think a lot of people are on this seesaw, like the Eagles that got a good roster, they got a lot of playmakers, but then you got Andy Reid and Patty Mahomes on the other side, and they're not going to do anything, get let down easy when it comes to anything. So I think the Eagles got a lot to handle, but I think they're the better team at the end of the day. And I don't know. I don't need Mahomes getting another bowl before Josh Allen has any.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at it, I kind of view it the same way that the Eagles. To be honest, hey, listen, there's nothing else to lose now. I mean, we're not in the game, so I'll admit to Nickel City Crew that I was not, all what I talk about all offseason, get to the Super Bowl, represent the AFC, represent the AFC. So I was not going to pick the Bills to win this game if they had gone up against Philly because, Philly was the one team that I didn't want to see. I wanted to see San Francisco get lucky if they had an opportunity and the Bills were still in it. And then the Bills play them for the title. Philly kind of scares me. They just have answers, it seems like, at every level. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
defensive line where you want to be stout and strong up front, they've got it. Linebackers with Hassan Reddick, a Philly boy himself from Temple,
Yeah.
they've got it. The secondary with Bradbury, like they've got the second, like it seems like they have everything covered. On offense, Jalen Hurts is really coming to his own and has been a mature a leader of this team. And then, Miles Sanders, like they run the ball, like they have the best offensive line in football. So like it's tough to compete with a team that's going to smash you in the head that many times in a row. It kind of reminds me of those Seattle Seahawks teams with beast mode, DT, because like those teams would just keep hitting you and keep hitting you in the mouth, and like that shit gets tiring after like 3.5
Big time.
quarters like that.
In the
Like, man,
last
I don't feel like hitting as much anymore.
in the last Super Bowl with Mahomes in it, that's what the Buccaneers did. They brought the pressure and hit him a bunch, and just brutalized that offensive line. And this Philly D line's right in that same repertoire. We got Hassan Reddick, like you said, who's a beast. I saw a factor on him to get 2 sacks, and it was pretty good odds. And I think that was one of the easiest bets out there right now because that man is a freak, and I think he's going to get Mahomes at least one time.
Yeah, man, it's been crazy to see them, and I know we've got to kind of keep an eye on on the Jalen Hurts shoulder and stuff like that, so that'll kind of play a part.
Yeah.
And I know the lines and different things like that on the Super Bowl. It's just going to be interesting to see, because I think that if everything is just kind of even, like you said, 20 out of 22, I think that Philly's a better team, and they've got more horses in the race. That can help them be victorious. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, if we've known anything, DT, is that you cannot count out, him. You can't count out those boys. They've got a horseshoe stuck right up their ass. Like you can't count them out. So it should be a fun Super Bowl, to be honest. It should be a fun conclusion to the 2022 season. Obviously, we wish the Bills were there. We'll have one more episode before we take a quick break. We'll have one more episode next week. We'll talk a little bit about the offseason. I've got another secret for you, DT, and I almost want to reveal it, but I don't want to. But just know what do I always say? I'm a WGR fanatic. I love WGR. I listen to the shows. I listen to from Howard and Jeremy in the morning, through Sal and and Joe in the afternoon, and then you've got I think it's and then I think at the afternoon show is Show Up in the Bulldog, and then you've got Nate Gary on the afternoon at that late night show or whatever. Listen, I've got a little surprise for you, DT. Something that'll percolate your Buffalo Bills mind. So you should be happy next week, man. I've got another surprise for you, man. Another surprise.
Okay.
WGR surprise. WGR. Little Christmas in February.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think about Rihanna? You ready for the halftime show?
I am not ready. I mean, I hope everything goes well, because she's amazing, and I don't know. I'll just keep it there. I don't know anything about Rihanna other than I know that she's amazing at what she does. So she's
I hope it's popping.
Yeah. How could it not be? It is Rihanna, so how could it not be? That's funny, man. Well, listen, man, as always, man, I appreciate you, DT, coming on tonight. Again, we appreciate our special guest tonight, Richlin, again, of Gotee Records there at So Kind and Sweet. He's got his new EP out. We're happy to promote it here at Nickel City Cruise. Something to Say. Check out Richlin, RICHLIN. His song, Mount Up. It will speak to you as a Bills fan. If it does not, then you literally cannot be part of the Mafia, because there's no way that these lyrics don't hit you. They hit me like a ton of bricks a few weeks back, and I've been all about it. So we really appreciate him coming on tonight. And I don't know, man. Listen, spread love, not hate. Enjoy the Super Bowl Sunday, DT. I mean, holla at these were my Bills thoughts said out loud, man. Hit them with a Go Bills, DT.
Get yourself some shrimp cocktail. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Go Bills. Go Bills.
Bills, man. Hit them.